Cliff Smith and welcome to lesson 6 in my series of blues licks lessons. Now, there is some tab and a free backing track for this lesson. You can download that from my website for free. If you have a look in the description of this video, you'll find a link and that will take you to my website. Okay, so this lick, it's more of a technique than a lick really. It's called a unison bend. So what we're doing, I'm holding down one note and then bending another note up to create two of the same note at the same time, which is called a unison. So my first finger is on E, on the 12th fret of the E string. My third finger is going to go on D, on the 15th fret of the B string. And then using my third and second fingers, I'm going to push that second string up one tone until I produce an E. So I'm bending that D on the 15th fret up until it sounds like an E on the 15th fret, or also E on the 12th fret of the E string. So I start with a dissonance, two notes that sound a bit wrong together. But as I bend it up, I get rid of that and I end up with a nice unison note. Okay, so the two ways I was playing this in the intro, I was picking both note strings at once, and then I was picking them one at a time, like that. Okay, now the other unison bend I was using was in the same position but on different strings. I had my first finger on the 12th fret of the B string, which is B, my third finger on the 14th fret of the G string, A, and I'm bending the A up one tone so it sounds like a B. Okay, so notice it's a different shape. Because these strings are tuned, or the relationship is different between them, the fingering is slightly different. So if I'm on the first and second strings, the unison bend is my first finger and then my third finger 3 frets above it on the B string. If I'm playing on the G and B strings, I've got my first finger on the 12th fret and my third finger goes 2 frets above it on the 14th fret. Okay, and if I'm playing this lick over an E chord, those two notes, E and B, are both in the E chord. So that's going to work. That's these two notes. If I play an E chord or an E7 chord at the 12th fret, those notes are in the chord. So when the chord changes to an A7 chord, bar chord would be down there. The top two notes of that are the two notes I'm going to do unison bends on. So my first finger will go on the 5th fret of the E string, third finger on the 8th fret of the B string, bend it up. First finger doesn't bend, it stays still. Third finger bends. That's generally what people have difficulty with, is keeping that first finger still. So you need to work on that. So you can get the third finger bending with the second finger helping to push the string up. First finger doesn't move, it stays put. And then the other unison bend we can do on the A chord would be first finger on the 5th fret of the B string, which is an E, and third finger on the 7th fret of the G string, D, bending up to E. So we've got two bends there for the A chord. And then when we change to the B chord, first finger on 7th fret of the E string, B, third finger on 10th fret of the B string, A, bend the A up to a B. The other unison bend we can do is first finger on the 7th fret of the B string, F sharp, third finger on the 9th fret of the G string, E, bend the E up to make it an F sharp. Okay, and then two ways I can do those bends, either picking both notes at once or picking each string individually. So here I'm picking the B string, then the E string. And if you repeat that, or the other shape, sounds a bit Chuck Berry-like. Okay, so these are very, very useful, not just in a blues context, in a rock context as well. And just to go a little bit deeper into it, you can use the unison bend on any note of the chord. For example, E major or E7, it's got 4 notes in it, E, G sharp, B and D. So I can do the unison bend on an E, on a G sharp, on a B, or on a D. And I'm putting my first finger on whichever note of the chord I want to play. So E, first finger's on 12th fret, third finger's 3 frets above. Third finger's always 3 frets above on these two strings. So there's E, G sharp, the first finger on G sharp on the 16th fret, third finger 3 frets above on the B string. B, I'm going to go down to the 7th fret. D, I'm going to go to the 10th fret. For the A7 chord, I've got A, C sharp, E, G are the notes in that chord. So I can play A, first finger on A, third finger C sharp, first finger on C sharp for the 3rd of the chord, E is the 5th of the chord, first finger on E, first finger on G for the 7th. And for B, I've got B, D sharp, F sharp, and A. Okay, so we can use lots of different unison bends. The good thing about this, the unison bend, is when you bend the note up, effectively you have one note there. Repeated twice, but it's effectively one note. So you're not having to worry like we do with the double stops. You need to really match those up with the correct chords. With the unison bend, effectively you're playing one note, so you can use those in a lot more places than you can your regular double stop. Okay, so I'm going to just show you how you can use those licks in context with some other licks from this series. Yeah, I hope you enjoy it, have fun. Be careful, don't do too many if you've never done bends before, because you're going to get really sore fingers. So just push it a little bit, but not too much. Make sure you don't hurt yourself. Take breaks. Just take it easy. You can always, have another go tomorrow once your hand's recovered. Okay.